Let's be clear. There is no greatest pedal company of all time. That's just not a thing. It's too subjective. But it is Boss. Alright, so if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you might have noticed that I really like basic stuff. In this age of $300 boutique overdrive pedals and delays with dragons on them and MIDI switching and whatnot, I like things that are easy to find, relatively inexpensive, reliable, replaceable if need be, and easy to use. Boss pedals have all of this in spades. They're all simple. They have the most durable design, I think, out of any pedals of this form factor. They got the best foot switch of all time, too. So today I'm going to put together a rig out of all Boss pedals. And I think this is a rig that I could absolutely do everything I needed to do with. So let's hop in. For all of these examples, unless otherwise noted, the guitar that I'm going to use is my Telecaster. There's nothing fancy going on here. This is a really basic Telecaster. Mojo tone pickups, Squire neck. And I'm running it into a Princeton Reverb with a 12-inch speaker. That's mic'd with an SM57, and that's going into Pro Tools. The amp is set clean. The volume's on about 4, and that's about it. The first thing my rig needs is a good overdrive, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a better one than this, the Boss Blues Driver. With the gain set low, this can just sound like your amp pushed a little harder, which is what so many of us are looking for in an overdrive. But also, with the gain turned up, this starts to behave more like a distortion pedal, maybe even a fuzz pedal as it's all the way up. For this playing example, I'm going to have the gain set fairly low, about 11 o'clock, but this is an extremely versatile pedal. It's also more responsive than most to volume control and pick dynamic changes. After the overdrive, I think the next most important thing would be a good delay. And for most of my delay needs, a Boss DD8 will be more than enough. This pedal gives me a bunch of different delay options. There are a few different digital options. There's a tape emulation, there's an analog emulation, and then there are some more out there sounds like a reverse delay and a shimmer delay. If I wanted to go even more basic, I could go with a DD3. The reason that I ended up with a DD8 is that the cost difference really wasn't significant, and the DD8 has the DD3 sound in it and a bunch of other sounds as well. So we'll put this in the chain, see how it sounds. If you're looking for a little more out of your gain section than just the Blues Driver can offer, one option you have is to stack a different sounding Boss overdrive in front of it. Something like the Boss SD1, for example, would be an excellent choice. But let's say you want something totally different. So I borrowed this pedal from my friend Tom, who did this owl mod on it. Kind of cute, don't you think? I think so. I like it a lot. So I put this pedal by itself in front of my Princeton, and it sounded terrible. It was just all fizz and then some low end that sounded completely disconnected from the fizz, and I could see why the internet consensus about this pedal was that it sucks. And then I ran it into an already distorted sound, and then it really came alive. It was like all that stuff got glued together, and suddenly it was a fantastic distorted sound. So with that in mind, I'm going to stack this with the Blues Driver and run the DS1 first, and we'll see how that sounds. So I'm sure right now somebody is saying, what about a tuner? Why haven't you mentioned a tuner? You got to have a tuner in there. You got to be in tune. And the reason I haven't mentioned it is that I actually don't have one with me right now, but I do have the next best thing. Okay, it's a tuner. Can we move on? And while we're on the subject of pedals that aren't very exciting but are a big help, Boss also make the industry standard EQ pedal. GE7s are everywhere. Everybody in Nashville has one. There are some mods for them, but you'll see them in stock form too. They are an excellent tone shaper. They're, in a live setting, an excellent boost. They can be a real problem fixer. And they can also be a source of a bunch of wild, out there sounds with just a little bit of creative manipulating of the sliders. Alright, so we have dirt, we have EQ, we have space. How about some wobble? Well, with Boss, we're in luck because Boss make a couple of the best modulation pedals out there. I got two examples right now. On the one end of the wobble spectrum, we've got tremolo. There are a lot of tremolo options out there, but for my money and a lot of people's, really nobody has beaten the TR2. Opposite end of the spectrum, this is why choruses are blue. So I think I could do just about any gig or session with that collection of 6 pedals that I showed you, along with a guitar and any decent clean amp. And I could probably track down all of those pedals for a combined $500 or so without looking too hard. Maybe we tack on another $50 for a used TU2 or TU3, because sometimes having a tuner pedal is nice. That's pretty good value for the sounds and the versatility that I'd be getting out of that rig. On top of that, every single pedal in there is easy to find, easy to use, easy to replace if need be, because every single one will be stocked at pretty much any music store you can find. And the chances of me having to replace them are fairly low because they're Boss pedals and they're tanks. Whether or not this is the best rig you could possibly put together, I think there's a lot of merit to limiting yourself to just using Boss pedals for all of those aforementioned reasons. I understand that not everybody's tonal needs are the same, but whatever you're looking for, there is a good chance that Boss offers an excellent version of it. I think that pretty much wraps up what I need to say, other than that I should clarify this is not a sponsored video. I don't have nearly enough sway on the gear community for anybody to sponsor things. I just really like Boss pedals. So with that, I will open the floor to you guys. Maybe comment down below what your favorite Boss pedal is or what some of the ones are that you're using. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I will see you in the next video.